بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
حميم. تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز الحكيم. إن في السماوات والأرض لآيات للمؤمنين وفي خلقكم وما يبث من دابة آيات لقوم يوقنون واختلاف الليل والنهار وما أنزل الله من السماء من رزق فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وتصريف الرياح آيات لقوم يعقلون تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق فبأي حديث بعد الله وآياته يؤمنون ويل لكل أفاك أثيم يسمع آيات الله تتلى عليه ثم يصر مستكبرا كأن لم يسمعها فبشره بعذاب أليم وإذا علم من آياتنا شيئا اتخذها هزوا أولئك لهم عذاب مهين من ورائهم جهنم ولا يغني عنهم ما كسبوا شيئا ولا ما اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء ولهم عذاب عظيم هذا هدى والذين كفروا بآيات ربهم لهم عذاب من رجز أليم الله الذي سخر لكم البحر لتجري الفلك فيه بأمره ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وسخر لكم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض جميعا منه إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون قل للذين آمنوا يغفروا للذين لا يرجون أيام الله ليجزي قوما بما كانوا يكسبون من عمل صالحا فلنفسه ومن أساء فعليها ثم إلى ربكم ترجعون ولقد آتينا بني إسرائيل الكتاب والحكم والنبوة ورزقناهم من الطيبات وفضلناهم على العالمين وآتيناهم بينات من الأمر فما اختلفوا إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم إن ربك يقضي بينهم يوم القيامة فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون ثم جعلناك على شريعة من الأمر فاتبعها ولا تتبع أهواء الذين لا يعلمون إنهم لن يغنوا عنك من الله شيئا وإن الظالمين بعضهم أولياء بعض والله ولي المتقين هذا بصائر للناس وهدى ورحمة لقوم يوقنون. أم حسب الذين اجترحوا السيئات أن نجعلهم كالذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سواء محياهم ومماتهم ساء ما يحكمون. وخلق الله السماوات والأرض بالحق ولتجزى كل نفس بما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. أفرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه وأضله الله على علم وختم على سمعه وقلبه وجعل على بصره غشاوة فمن يهديه من بعد الله أفلا تذكرون. وقالوا ما هي إلا حياتنا الدنيا نموت ونحيا وما يهلكنا إلا الدهر وما لهم بذلك من علم إن هم إلا يظنون. وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا بينات ما كان حجتهم إلا أن قالوا ائتوا بآبائنا إن كنتم صادقين. قل الله يحييكم ثم يميتكم ثم يجمعكم إلى يوم القيامة لا ريب فيه ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. ولله ملك السماوات والأرض ويوم تقوم الساعة يومئذ يخسر المبطلون. وترى كل أمة جاثية كل أمة تدعى إلى كتابها اليوم تجزون ما كنتم تعملون. هذا كتابنا ينطق عليكم بالحق إنا كنا نستنسخ ما كنتم تعملون. فأما الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فيدخلهم ربهم في رحمته ذلك هو الفوز المبين. وأما الذين كفروا أفلم تكن آياتي تتلى عليكم فاستكبرتم وكنتم قوما مجرمين. وإذا قيل إن وعد الله حق والساعة لا ريب فيها قلتم ما ندري ما الساعة إن نظن إلا ظنا وما نحن بمستيقنين. وبدا لهم سيئات ما عملوا وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون. وقيل اليوم ننساكم كما نسيتم لقاء يومكم هذا ومأواكم النار النار وما لكم من ناصرين ذلكم بأنكم اتخذتم آيات الله هزوا وغرتكم الحياة الدنيا فاليوم لا يخرجون منها ولا هم يستعتبون فلله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
Oh Ramadan, month of mercy you are. Welcome Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
In the midst of human distress and hardship, you'll find us. Human Appeal Australia's foundation was built over 3 decades ago on a firm commitment to serving mankind and strengthening humanity's resistance against global devastation. Our story began in 1991 by sponsoring 20 orphans in Sudan and later flourishing into something far beyond that. Today, we are facilitating the sponsorship of over 27,000 orphans across 16 countries, covering essentials like food, water, clothing, and education. We prioritize working towards sustainable lifelines, ensuring that those in need have the resources to develop their own lives. Amongst all of this, however, lies our most significant contribution to humanity. In prompt response, we quickly became one of the most active humanitarian organizations, taking a firm stance on the front lines and tackling the most debilitating circumstances. As we all know, the past 15 months in Gaza carried unimaginable grief for over 2 million civilians trapped in the besieged area. Our Gaza emergency campaign from the very beginning has been operating non-stop to distribute the most critical supplies to thousands of civilians facing an unimaginable crisis. Upon the outbreak of the war, we facilitated paramedics working around the clock to aid in transporting and treating injured civilians. Thousands of medical and hygiene packs were delivered to Al Shifa Hospital, the biggest medical facility in all of Gaza. In the midst of the bombardment, Human Appeal Australia renovated Al Hilal International Hospital to apply much-needed medical intervention, lifting the pressure from the already diminishing healthcare system. Thousands of food parcels, hot meals, bread portions, and vegetable hampers were distributed to displaced families by our team in Gaza. Around 10,000 containers of milk were also delivered to ensure children under the age of 2 receive their required nutritional intake amid a widespread famine. Over 45 million litres of clean, desalinated water was distributed and used to water 200 acres of farmland designed to cultivate fresh produce for local civilians. Even after a ceasefire deal has been reached, we are mobilizing more efforts into rebuilding Gaza and restoring the lives of those who have lost everything. 1,600 tents were allocated to Gaza to provide shelter for families who no longer have a home to return to. Our most recent emergency appeals have facilitated aid in the most difficult regions, including Lebanon, Syria, and Sudan, amongst many others. While we operate overseas, we remain committed to our community at home in Australia. On a local scale, we introduced our Hope initiative, helping elderlies engage and fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. We utilise resources to aid those affected by floods and bushfires in Australia, providing parcels of food and hygiene kits to families in need. We have also provided financial assistance to those in need locally, notably refugees from Gaza. Our community care department over the years has also implemented a number of engaging initiatives, including the Divine Legacy Conference Tour and High Achievers Awards. These events have attracted thousands of our nationwide community, bringing joy and inspiration to many. Today, we remain steadfast upon our journey, and with the help of generous supporters like you, our impact continues to grow and transform the masses. By renewing our commitment to this cause, we call upon you to join us on this blessed mission and bring hope to our brothers and sisters in need all over the world.
Oh Ramadan, month of mercy you are. Welcome Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
So I tell you what, my beloved sisters and my brothers, we care. We care not just for Palestine, like I said, but there are people struggling in Sudan right now. Unbelievable what's happening there. Warfare, avoidable. But unfortunately, it's happened. It's taken Sudan to the Stone Age, if you know. Sudanese are embarrassed because they don't even believe what's going on in their own country. The same thing applies in so many other countries. We have then people who are struggling with disaster upon disaster, so much more. There are people who are struggling in Indonesia, people struggling in Afghanistan and in Pakistan, in parts of different countries in Morocco. Still the people who are affected by the earthquakes and the floods in Libya. Some places we have no access to. Some places we have no access to. It's either too dangerous or it's disallowed for us to work in those places. We won't be able to do it. We'll expect others who are able to do it on our behalf as an ummah. But to be honest with you, wherever we can, we reach out to them. Wouldn't you like to reach out to those who live with you? Goodness, a good word. I want to invite you to a beautiful invitation that will change your life. This is an invitation to tell you, my sisters, my brothers, promise that you're going to say at least 10 good sentences to those whom you live with every day. Promise that you're going to say 10 good sentences. Wow, mashallah, you're looking so good today. Who did you say it to? Your own spouse. They'll probably say, you've never said that to me in 20 years. What happened today? They're waiting to heal. Those are statements that will help them heal. It will bring your family together. It will bring your relative. When we have negatives, we always say it. When we have positives, we keep it in. We won't help the ummah heal. We make the promise? Sisters have all said yes. The brothers are just looking at me. Inshallah, 10 good sentences every day to those whom you live with, whoever they may be, your children, your in-laws, your outlaws, whoever they are, inshallah. You say some good words to them, good sentences. You know, mashallah, I'm so happy, you know, and so whatever, you know what it is, right? And the I love yous and so on need to go to the right people, by the way. Because if you're living in with your not so halal person, then you need to know that those sentences don't really apply. But nonetheless, what I want to say to you is, if it's not 10, at least start with a few. By the will of Allah, it will change your life. I guarantee you. Why? In some of the therapy sessions that I have, I've always suggested this type of thing. And I try to follow up later and say, did you do this? And when they ultimately say, well, now I started it, since you asked me 3-4 times. Initially, they don't like to start it. Every single one of them says it has had a positive impact. Some say unimaginable, unbelievable, and some admit that at least it's positive. You have to say a good thing. Come on, who are they going to hear it from? Your children. Some fathers are such that they've never told their daughters, mashallah, you're looking so beautiful. You know that? I love just looking at you, man. They've never said it to their daughters. And when I told one elderly man, you've got to say it, he says, no, not my generation. I said, but Allah's kept you alive in this generation, so you got to do it for them. Because uncle, if they don't hear you saying it, you know what? The similar uncle next door is saying it every day. May Allah forgive us. So inshallah, we help the ummah heal by starting with our family.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Abdullah and I am a medical student at the University of Adelaide. I'd like to share some tips on what it's like fasting as a young person in Ramadan. So one of my main tips in Ramadan relates to study. Making sure that our study routines in Ramadan are at an optimal is really, really important for our academic careers. It's especially important to make sure we can have a good study routine that can involve using calendar apps, making sure we do most of our study after we eat, like after suhoor or after iftar, and making sure we stay hydrated throughout the day is really, really important. So having lots of water between iftar and suhoor, up to 2 liters a day, can make sure we're staying concentrated as much as we can throughout the day and really make sure that we are on top of our studies and all of our work and school lives. It's also really important to make sure we have a balance in Ramadan. It's not just about studying and locking in, it's also about making sure we're taking breaks, spending time with our loved ones and friends, and really making sure that we're not overworking ourselves in Ramadan. So in our study routines, we want to incorporate some study breaks, and we want to make sure we're also doing some light exercise every now and then. This can be things like playing some sport, going to the gym at times, and even just going for a light walk around the block, I think is really important to make sure our mind and body stay active throughout Ramadan. And finally, I think it's most important to make sure that if we're struggling, we can communicate and ask for help. Teachers, employers, even parents are all there to support you. So make sure that you take the time out to try and reach out for help if you're struggling in Ramadan, and everyone is there to help you. Ramadan is not just about fasting, it's about maintaining your spirituality, being true to yourself, being honest with yourself, and learning that discipline to make sure you can become the best version of yourself in every way of life. I hope you all have a brilliant Ramadan, and I'm looking forward to see you all improve yourselves this year.
Oh Ramadan, month of mercy, Allah. Welcome Ramadan, Ramadan.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Welcome to another amazing episode of Ramadan TV. As always, every year we're always bringing about new episodes and discussing new things and discovering new things, which is why we're obviously here today to discover something new that just got launched recently, and there's been some big major developments that have happened over the last couple of months as well. We are going to be joining with Dr. Hani, someone that doesn't really need any formal introduction to the community, but has been involved in establishing many crucial institutes for the community. And we're going to be discussing something in particular to do with Islamic finance, which is called Bait al-Mal. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Hani. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good to see you. Obviously, we're here to discuss Bait al-Mal for the community to sort of get deeper insight in regards to not just what it is and why it was established, but also, the reasons why it was established and the implications behind it, and the benefits, and all the good things that are going to come out of it and have already started to come out of it, as well as some things in the pipeline as well. So, in a very simple way, what is Bait al-Mal? Very simply put.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Bait al-Mal is South Australian established Islamic finance company, unique. There is nothing like Bait al-Mal according to our Sharia advisors. Even in the whole world, the system that we developed in Bait al-Mal doesn't exist anywhere.
Inshallah.
And that's a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal for every Muslim family who want a purely halal house for their own.
Yeah, mashallah. So obviously it's very innovative, but having said that word, innovative, it's still, it's actually Sharia compliant, but the approach, given the Western regulations of finance and interest, it's become so difficult. So we have had to take an innovative approach to, find a way where we can have 100% Sharia compliant. So obviously this is for anyone that's wanting to buy a house, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So I know in Bait al-Mal you use a particular method in regards to the purchasing. Very simply put, what's the name of this transaction?
It's called Bay' Mu'ajjal,
yeah,
which is deferred sale.
Yeah.
It's just simply, if I want to sell you a car
yes,
that I own, I will say to you, I will sell it to you over 5 years for this amount by paying a down payment of 10,000
Yeah.
and 1,000 every month for 5 years.
Okay.
And that's it.
Very simple.
Very simple.
So let's put this as an example with a house. For example, let's say you're Bat al-Mal, I'm just a normal Muslim. There's a house there that I like. If I, for example, propose that I would like to buy this house, Bat al-Mal obviously will inspect it to make sure it's a good, not a bad house. Good house, they'll inspect it, they'll purchase the house and then sell it to me. Just like you buy, for example, a bottle of water and then you sell it to me, or a car or something.
There are more details in that, but yeah, correct. So if anyone is interested in a house, will come to us and say, I'm interested in this house.
Yeah.
We will go for the inspection. We'll send engineers to do a full report about the building,
Yes.
any defects in the building, any termites, anything
Yeah.
that is a defect. And then if we see that the price of the house is good, we will buy it and then put it up in the market for sale.
Yeah.
And the one who proposed
Yes.
will have a priority
Yes.
over the others to buy the house.
MashaAllah.
And so when we sell the house, we say that this house, for example, over 20 years for $1 million.
Yep.
So the person will have no surprises. It's just the $1 million that we will need to pay over
Yes.
20 years, and that's it.
Okay. Now, and obviously you mentioned some money figures. From what I know and from what's obviously in the policies, there's not much difference. Actually, in fact, it's even more competitive than conventional banking.
Correct.
So it's not like the Islamic finance. They're going to be charging you more than the haram bank.
We made it in a way that if you buy a house from the commercial bank,
Yeah.
and if you buy a house from us, we are a bit cheaper than the commercial bank. If you buy a house from any other Islamic finance company in Australia, it will be
More
way
expensive. Yeah, yeah.
So we made it in a way that it's not expensive on the customer.
So really, but like just putting two and two together, it's really a no-brainer. Like traditional Islamic finance you might find in the West is always a lot more expensive than the conventional bank, which is haram. So the Muslims, you find they're stuck in between. So this one here actually finds a way out and is still actually even cheaper as well.
Yep. So it's a simple transaction. It's very beneficial for the home buyer, and at the same time provides a 100% halal income for the investor.
MashaAllah. All right, so now this isn't just obviously words and talk and marketing. I heard recently, which was the first milestone of Bat al-Mal, is that although you only launched not long ago, you've already purchased and sold your first house, correct?
Correct. So we sold a house in the city, alhamdulillah, and the family were looking for a house for over 5-6 years.
Inshallah.
They moved within the last 4 years 4 times.
Yeah.
So poor thing.
Yes.
And this is common in the Muslim families.
Yes.
But alhamdulillah, they liked the house in the city, and we liked that house, and we inspected it, and we did all the groundwork, and then we put it up for sale. And they applied to buy it, and they had the priority, and they actually bought the house, and now they are living in the house since the
MashaAllah.
beginning of February, which is a blessing to buy a house which
Yeah.
is 100%, no doubt,
Yes.
no question marks. It's just your
Yes.
house in a halal way.
How did the family feel?
They felt very, very, very blessed. They were very happy. At least now they are in their own house. Nobody's going to come and say to them at the end of the
Get out,
contract, get
wait.
out, or I'm going to inspect your house, or this or that. It's just a piece
They're
of
pleased and they know that Allah is pleased too.
mind. That's it.
MashaAllah.
That's the best of it.
Alhamdulillah.
So it's our product is just a simple product. We buy the house,
Yes.
we own the house, we sell the house.
Yeah.
So we don't sell except what we own. Number 2, there is no surprises. The house price is fixed for a fixed term.
No fluctuations.
Nothing, no fluctuations. And the product is called Bay al-Mu'ajjal.
Yeah.
Simple and straightforward.
Sure.
We don't impose on people to have insurance,
Yeah.
because we know that insurance in general, except in certain circumstances, it's haram.
Yeah.
And if the person is at default, there are no extra charges.
No late fees.
No late fees, nothing at all, apart from reserving the right of the investors,
Yeah.
that if something happened, we can just sell the house and return back the money for the investors.
It feels like they feel they're protected by the Sharia and the objectives behind the Sharia of helping, as opposed to oppressing people when it comes to loaning money and things like this, which is what the objectives of Islamic finance is.
Alhamdulillah.
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح.
حي على الصلاة خير من النوم الصلاة خير من النوم الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. O Allah, owner of this perfect call and owner of this prayer to be performed, grant Muhammad the right of intercession and superiority, and send him to the best and highest place in paradise, which you have promised him.
So Islamic finance in Australia obviously has got a history of confusion, of doubt, of question marks, and it's not something that sort of came and went away. It's always been surrounding it. Why did Bait al-Mal come about, and tell us the connection between the history of Islamic finance in Australia and all this confusion and the reason why Bait al-Mal was established?
First of all, if we look at the Islamic finance industry in Australia, if you want to go and buy a house from any of the Islamic finance companies, you will sign, in most cases, 2 contracts.
Okay.
The first contract is an Islamic contract, and most of the companies, they use either murabaha or they use ijara, which is rent to own.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that you will sign that Islamic contract, but at the same time you will sign another contract which is a pure loan contract.
Okay.
And that loan contract, they will say we will try not to increase or change the interest per year. It's fixed, but if there is any fluctuation, which what happened actually last year or the year before last year, when the fluctuation happened with the interest rate, all of these companies just raised on the same night, raised the price of the property that the people already purchased. And so people had to increase their monthly payments out of a sudden because of the inflation that happened.
Okay. Which is opposite, obviously, to Bait al-Mal. Bait al-Mal is fixed for the next 20 years, no matter what inflation's happened.
Even if you bought a house from us today at $1 million, and tomorrow the market went up and your house value became $2 million, that's yours. It's simple. So we sold you the house, that's it.
You feel safe.
But in the Australian Islamic finance companies, it's fluctuating. And then you will have interest clauses. And then you will be forced to have insurance, which is not permissible in Islam. So there are many things that are ambiguous, number one, and number two, the contracts are not fixed and they contain interest clause, and some of them contain actually penalties on defaults. So pretty much you cannot find a pure Islamic finance company that will satisfy or tick all the boxes that they are Sharia compliant.
So I feel like because of the regulations within the Australian finance industry, obviously with what the Muslims have tried to do with Islamic finance up until now, I feel like they haven't really pushed the boundaries to see what is possible in order to actually make things 100% halal. And I think this is where Bait al-Mal has...
It was a concern for me from the beginning of establishing Bait al-Mal, and that's why in one of the meetings with ASIC, which is the Australian regulatory of the companies in Australia, I mentioned to them the product that I want to have in Bait al-Mal, and they said, it's up to you. So long as you abide by the Australian law, you can have the product that you want. We don't care about what you are going to use with the license that we are giving to you. Just fulfill the requirement of the license. And that's why when you come to buy from us, you will only sign one contract, which is a property acquisition contract. And that's it. There are no hidden contracts, there are no interest clauses, there are no defaults, there are no insurance, there is nothing. It's just clearly, we are selling you this house for this amount over this period of time.
Beautiful.
And that's it.
It really is a window of hope of pure Islamic finance into the future.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. All right, now let's talk investments. Say for example, you know, I already have a house, or I'm not interested in buying a house, or I don't, for example, have enough deposit for a house, but I've got some money. It might be whatever it is, 10,000, might be 100,000, might be $1 million and above. I've got some money and I want to invest it, whether it's in, you know, in property, or I want to invest it in a halal way that's purely halal. How can someone invest in Bait al-Mal? Does Bait al-Mal accept the investments? How does it work, and what's happened so far?
Bait al-Mal is registered to take investments from Australia and overseas as well. We don't accept investments that are doubtful in a Sharia point of view. So all the investments need to be from a halal source, and they can apply for investing with Bait al-Mal, and we just finalize the contract, and the money will go to Bait al-Mal, and that money will be used to buy a house for someone, for a Muslim family, and sell it, and the output or the income from selling that house is going to be redistributed to those who invested. So what you do here is you are relieving a family from getting into haram purchase of a house, and number two, you are getting halal income, which is something that people would love if they have cash. And alhamdulillah, we can, inshallah, promise at least based on what we see in the market and our selling, inshallah, maybe 5% and above on yearly basis as a return on investment. Inshallah, we can do something. It's not fixed because we cannot fix the return on investment. It depends on the projects and how many we have and the distribution of the profit.
MashaAllah. And obviously it's not something that fluctuates, you know, it's not very volatile. It's in property. So property never goes down.
Never goes down. And what we are doing the company in a way that the investors do not lose any dollar. So for them, the only thing that is at risk is the house that we purchase and we sell to the person, which is not a risk, because the person will commit to us to pay back the money of the house regardless of what happened. So there is a security over there.
Inshallah. MashaAllah, it seems like, you know, sort of the ball has started to roll, the wheel has started to turn, however you want to call it, and it's moving. Now, I know, I heard there's some new project as well in the pipeline as well, also under Bait al-Mal. Tell us a little bit about this new project.
So we are in the final stages, inshallah, to launch Istisna', where if someone has a land, for example, and he wants to build a house on that land, he can come to us, and then we can sign with him a contract of Istisna', where we go on our own and have the contractor build the house, and then we sell that house, that built house, to the person who owns the land. And another model that we will be doing as well is that potentially we will find some lands, big lands, and then split the titles and build on them and sell.
Develop them and sell them, obviously through the...
We cannot develop, but we can develop through some people who have the license to develop. But we will be selling these houses, which will save the people the stamp duty because they are brand new houses, and they will save them as well the grant that comes from the government for the first home buyer. So we are trying to hit that to reduce even the price of the houses that we will be selling. So inshallah, very soon you will receive that as our next product.
MashaAllah. Excellent. The future is looking very bright. I'm excited. People are excited. They're wanting to reach out, wanting to find out more. I know obviously you've got all the documentation, the product disclosure statements, the financial documents and terms and conditions and all that sort of stuff all on the website. And it has all the questions and frequently asked questions as well. Whether I want to invest, whether I want to buy, what do I do? How do I reach it? How do I get in contact with
Just jump on
Athan?
the website and just book a consultation session.
Yep.
And then come and see us in the office.
Okay, simple, as easy as that. Just as easy as the contract.
That's it.
MashaAllah. All right, done. Jazakallah khair. As you can see, brothers and sisters, this is something new, but it's proven. And alhamdulillah, the process has already started. The house has already been bought and so on. So if you're wanting halal investment, halal home, 100%, and not the marketing 100%, but actually Sharia compliant 100%, reach out to Bait al-Mal, and we look forward, inshallah, to seeing you in your new home. Dr. Hani, Jazakallah khair, and we wish you all the best for Bait al-Mal, and inshallah, into bigger and better things as well.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This Ramadan, while we're enjoying the great blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, many people around the world are struggling. Let's together be the aid for them so we can get the great pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.